Hi, welcome to The Naked Truth. I am Jennifer Bleacher, and I'm so happy to be here with you tonight. And tonight I have with me the beautiful, the one and only godmother, Tanya O'Rourke.
Godmother. It
I
always
love
cracks me up
that.
when you say that. I still need to get that shirt. That's so funny. Thank you. Thanks for asking me to co-host. I appreciate that. I think I'm going to be doing it like maybe once every other month. I think Patty and I are going to alternate months of guest hosting. So tonight we have the wonderful, fantastic Jim Haney as our guest. When he co-hosted, they had so many questions and people wanted to know things from Jim. So Jim's joining us tonight. So Jim, you want to do a little intro for anybody who
Yeah.
doesn't know you?
For the people who haven't watched my amazing videos.
Yeah, all of your
Yeah.
your whole collection of videos.
Yeah. I don't. For those of you who don't know, I don't do YouTube videos. I have been on several. I've been lucky enough to be invited on several shows, YouTube shows. I'm Jim. I had my surgery 6 years and 2 months now, I think. I had vertical sleeve gastrectomy. I started out. That was 600 pounds was my heaviest. I had surgery at about 580 pounds. I'm currently at 275. I got down to 250 was my lowest, and I actually stayed there for quite a while until I had some health problems and gained about 25 pounds back. So I'm maintaining a 325-pound loss at this time.
Amazing. Awesome. Absolutely.
Really. For sure.
So we're going to... Oh, I'm sorry. Did I interrupt?
No. Mm-mm.
Okay, we're gonna go in. We're gonna have community celebrations, and then we're gonna immediately go into the online questions that you guys submitted during the week. I just checked, and it looks like the comments have been disabled to comment live during the show. But if you click on the little yellow bar that says "Join the Conversation," try clicking on that, and we're gonna try and get questions that way tonight. If that doesn't work, you can always PM me on Facebook.
Or me, yeah.
Oh, yes, exactly. Perfect. Okay, so first of all, for shout-outs this week, KF Amy VSG had surgery this week, so welcome to the Losers Bench, Amy. Congratulations.
Yes.
There were 2 surgiversaries that I know about. Walter VSG Warrior, congratulations, Walter. And he's had tons of success this year, so he's done
my
very,
God,
very well.
amazing! Yeah, he's had like the probably best year ever.
Yeah, I know. Especially the best part of his year was probably when he actually got to meet me in person. I mean,
well, yeah.
I know that was highlight of his year.
That's hilarious. I thought you were going to say was when he met the love of his life, but no. When
That's
he met
what I thought he was going to say too.
Okay, just after that, on what's more amazing is meeting me.
Okay.
I'm just below that though.
Does he still have like a YouTube channel with his
stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I hadn't seen an update from him in a long time, so I know sometimes people like take down all their stuff, so I thought, I don't know, I hadn't seen anything from him in a while, and I thought, but it could be me. I haven't been online a lot, so it could just be that I missed it. And then Dennis Vinay, he has had like an amazing last couple of weeks. Not only is he celebrating his anniversary, he hit goal, and he also adopted his 2 little boys this week. So congratulations,
awesome.
Dennis. Yeah.
And he's
So
looking
happy.
amazing. He looks so fantastic. I'm so impressed. I knew he was going to be successful. I remember talking to him we started talking before surgery, so I knew he had like the right attitude and going into everything. But I mean, I saw a picture of him with the boys this week, and I'm like, wow, he just looks fantastic. Yeah.
And he's such a great guy, too. Like, just really
Yes.
sweet, genuine person. I love that
Yes.
about him. Okay, and then I got a couple online celebrations. Christina, I'm going to totally butcher her last name. I think it's Rangel? Christina Rangel? Or is it Rangel?
I don't know.
Okay, but she is having surgery in 8 days, so that's very exciting. Yay, congratulations, Christina. And then Michelle Swartz, she has lost more than 100 pounds. She's actually lost 132 pounds, so that was amazing. So congratulations, Michelle. Okay, I did get 1 PM that people aren't able to comment even when you open up the comment thing. So if you are friends with me on Facebook or with Tanya on Facebook, then just send us questions that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I have a celebration.
Oh, yeah.
In 2 days, I'll be 4 years out from VSG.
Nice.
November
Yay. 4 years.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's crazy.
You're almost a success.
Almost.
Almost.
If I hit the 5-year mark without gaining it all back,
One more year, yeah. You've got
gotta keep
another
my shit
year
together for
to
one more year.
maintain. If you
Is that the
keep
measure
the
of
weight
success?
down, yeah, benchmark is
Yeah.
5 years out. Yep. But it's only like maintaining, seriously. I mean, to me, it's actually pretty low. It's like I think you have to maintain 55% of your excess weight loss.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah, to
5%?
be considered, to be 55, to be considered
Oh,
a
okay.
success, a WLS success.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the benchmark. So to me, I'm like, okay, that seems pretty low. So if you lose 100 pounds and you've maintained 55 of that, that just seems pretty low to me. But that's medically, that's what they consider successful.
Well, probably compared to non-surgical.
Well,
people
yeah,
don't
because
maintain that
non-surgical,
much.
it's 5%, right? So it's 10
Right.
times. That's what I tell people. I said, even as low as that sounds, that's still 10 times the non-surgical method, right?
Right. Exactly.
So there are our Facebook questions that we got this week. The first one is from Randy Raphael. She wants to know, this is for James, what do you do when the going gets rough and you're hungry? How do you handle eating and subsequent weight gain?
What do I do? Okay, so you probably don't want to hear this, but I'm actually one of the people who still do not really get hungry. I'm one of the few. I mean, you hear people always say, oh, well, I was told that I wouldn't get hungry. Well, I would say for the majority of people, they do get hungry, especially after a year out, 2 years out. It definitely comes back for, I think, most people. For me, it hasn't. It's more than 6 years out. So I think I'm lucky in that way.
Yeah.
My wife, like I said, on the other hand, she gets hungry all the time. So I think what I tell people, though, is even though, you know, I can't speak from experience because I honestly don't get hungry like a traditional hunger. I know when I have to eat, when I feel get kind of like an empty feeling, I guess, and it's like, you know, or you got the physical, like you start to feel shaky and stuff like that, physical,
Right.
you know, signs that you're actually hungry and you probably need to eat, maybe getting a headache, getting dizzy, things like that. So I think I tell people is, you know, don't assume that you're never going to be hungry again or you're never going to get hungry, and when that does happen, don't freak out. Because I think the difference is most people I know personally and seen online report that when they do get hungry, it's diminished. It's not the same raging hunger as it was, you know, without your stomach being altered.
Right.
But if you do get hungry, hunger is a normal bodily function that tells you need to eat. So, you know, don't fear it. You know, and the thing is, you can satiate that hunger. You can fill up on just a few bites of the proper types of food. So if you get hungry and you eat 4 ounces of chicken and 2 ounces of salad or some sort of vegetable, you're probably going to be full, so you won't be hungry. So, you know, to me, you know, it's don't be afraid of, oh, I'm hungry. You know, I'm going to get hungry all the time. Well, if you're eating the right things, you can fulfill that hunger, you know, of the hunger pangs. You know, so. As long as you're eating the right stuff. I mean, if you're eating chips, well, shit, you'll still be hungry. You'll be hungry an hour later after you eat a bag of chips.
Right, it's going to go right through you.
Yeah.
Right.
Tanya, do you get hungry?
Yeah, I've actually had like a little epiphany about that in the last, really like week or two. I didn't get hungry for a long time. So like, okay, so I'm almost 4 years out. Probably like my first, I don't know, 2 or 3 years, I did not get hungry. I had my hypoglycemia things where I would eat every 2 to 3 hours, and so I got into a habit of doing that. And then I realized just recently that I was getting hungry and I was fearing it. Like I was sitting, I got to where I was eating to prevent getting hungry because I was afraid of it. And then I just realized, like, you know, that is just ridiculous. Like, I've been making myself sit with hunger, like actual hunger feelings, for like 30 minutes before I eat, just to get used to being hungry. Because I think I had such an insatiable hunger before surgery. Like, I was always hungry. I could eat, and no matter what I ate, I was always hungry. And then when I started feeling it again, I got afraid of that feeling. But like Jim said, it's not that insatiable hunger that I had before surgery. And if I eat something like solid protein, like, you know, typical protein first kind of thing, I fill up still pretty easily. I can eat a little bit more than I could like 2 years out. I think I used to be able to only eat like 4 ounces of solid protein. Now I could probably do like 5 and like a little bit of vegetable too. Which that kind of freaked me out too. But yeah, I've been making myself sit with hunger and like make myself realize I'm not gonna die. It's not gonna kill me if my stomach growls. It's really not. But I had a fear of it.
Right, and a lot of the experts out there, like on dieting and things like that, will tell you, if you get hungry, drink some water first, and then just wait 10 or 15 minutes to see if you really are hungry, and do you really need, or unless I haven't eaten in 6 hours, okay, well then yeah, you probably, hello, it's a normal function, you need to eat then, but if it's like every 2 hours and you're hungry, are you hungry because you're really hungry, or are you hungry because you're bored? Are you hungry because you're stressed out? Are you hungry because you've got you just want to occupy your time with something? There's a lot of different reasons why people feel they're hungry. Or are you hungry because you smelled somebody eating pizza next to your cubicle at work?
Right. I've been doing the water thing too, because I kind of gotten away from drinking my water the way I used to have, like a whole pattern that I followed to get my water in. So I've kind of gone back to that the last couple of weeks, and I do find too, if I drink like 16 ounces of water when I start feeling that hunger, sometimes I'll get busy doing something else, because I'll say, oh, I have to drink 16 ounces, sit with the hunger for 30 minutes, and then I'll eat something, and then I'll realize an hour and a half has gone by, and I'm not feeling the hunger anymore. So I really was probably thirsty, and that satisfied it. So, and I used to hear people say that, oh, you're probably just thirsty, and I thought that is such a load of crap. But I actually realized that may be onto something.
Right. I mean, well, I think it's that, because sometimes your body, when it's thirsty, will kind of just give you the signal that you're hungry and you need to drink something. But I think it's twofold when you do drink water. Like you said, if it is because you're thirsty, well then you'll satisfy the thirst. But the second part is, if it is because you're stressed, or if it's for another reason than actual physical hunger, it gives you like 10 or 15 minutes to just kind of go, okay, let's see if it'll pass, because maybe it's just in my head, and then it gives you the time to sort of go, oh, okay, yeah, I guess I wasn't that hungry. Or you get busy, I get hungry when I'm bored, whatever you want to call it. I don't get hungry, but I notice I'll eat when I'm bored. If I'm not doing anything, yeah, I'll go to the kitchen. I'm like, okay, I just ate like 2 hours ago. I know I'm not hungry, so why am I in here? It's because I got nothing else to do. I'm bored.
I have the exact same thing. Yep.
When my hunger first came back, which was just shortly after a year after surgery, I totally freaked out, and I even made a video about it. Like I said, there's the biggest WS lie, because that's what my surgeon told me. My surgeon told me, you will never be hungry again, and I don't know why she lied to me.
Well, I wonder if they don't track their patients, 2, 3, 4 years out, and they think, oh, well, yeah, if they're only tracking their patients for the first year, probably most of them don't have hunger, and they think that that's the long term, but that's not the long term.
And I know a lot of surgeons do that, but like mine never did that. He said, you may have hunger, you may not. He says, I think it will be greatly diminished, at least for the first 3 months. But I think most people find that. But I'm lucky.
I'm sorry. At our monthly support group, somebody was talking about, I'm hungry, and the nutritionist said to her, but the nutritionist is a total bitch, like hardcore, like in a good way usually, but she said to her, that's head hunger. It's not real hunger. The surgeon has removed the part of your stomach that creates the hunger hormone. It doesn't exist in your body anymore. It's head hunger. Well, that's a lie. That's not true.
Right.
And how far? I would say how far out is this person?
I don't know how far out she was, but I learned later, when I was experiencing hunger for the first time after surgery, that your other organs can also make, I forgot
ghrelin.
Ghrelin.
Yeah, your pancreas produces it. It's produced in other places in the body.
And I was thinking, but our surgeon said, I'm removing that part, like I'm taking it away forever, and it's there. So I freaked out, Tanya, because I was totally the type of person I could like eat a big Thanksgiving meal, for example, and then 10 minutes later go ahead and have a slice of pie, and then 10 minutes later eat
Who doesn't?
some more.
Hello, it's Thanksgiving. You're supposed to do that.
I know, well, I could do this on a daily basis as well. Like,
Me too.
I could eat so much, and I felt like always hungry, so I was really scared when the hunger came back that it was going to be like that, and it hasn't been.
Right.
I do feel hungry, but it's more like when it's time to eat breakfast and lunch and dinner.
Right.
Let me throw one more thing out there. So your body's going to tell you you're hungry if your blood sugar fluctuates. It's going to find a way to tell you you're hungry, right? So I will ask those who get hungry after what, the first year sometimes, or 18 months.
Yeah.
Was it because you have changed your diet and you are now eating a lot more simple carbohydrates that are going to make your blood sugars spike up and down? If that happens, I tell people, my wife was a good example. She's like, I get hungry all the time. I'm like, well, stop eating crap for a while. I said, and then eat just protein first, you know, a lot protein heavy, low carb, and see what happens. Guess what? Day number 3. I haven't been hungry all day. Oh, I'm like, yeah, no shit. I wonder why. You know? So I'm not saying that's with everybody. Yeah, I'm not saying that's with everybody. I think a lot of people say, I'm hungry, and then you ask them what they're eating, and they're like, oh, well, I ate oatmeal for breakfast, and then I had a snack that was toast and peanut butter, but it had protein in it, and I had, you find out what they're eating. They're eating like a lot of carbs. It's like, okay, well, if you start out breakfast with very carb heavy, unless you're working out a lot, that's different. But if you're going to do that, and then you go to your office job and you sit at your desk, well, then, yeah, guess what? About 2 hours later, you're probably going to get hungry again.
Right. Exactly.
You know?
Okay, that's good to know. I'll keep that in mind. Next time I'm hungry, I'll analyze what I'm eating. But actually, you always have such great, you always seem to know so much, James, and that's actually the next question. It's from Liz Legrini. I don't know if she has a YouTube page. I can't remember right now, but she's one of our Australian friends. And she says that you always have such great answers. Where do you gain your stats and information?
Because I'm smart as fuck, for one thing.
No, and so humble.
And modest, yeah.
That's my number one, my number one feature is I'm super humble and modest. I think, for one thing, I've been around the community for quite a while. I'm the type of person that likes to research, and not just do it once, but look at the current information, I go on lots of different websites and look. Early out, Obesity Help was my number one sort of, that's what I used a lot for all my information, because it's not just a forum where you can talk to people that have had the surgery and are many years out. It's also a forum where a lot of people will post links to other things. Whenever I find a link to a study or something, I'll copy it and I'll bookmark it and I'll have it for use for later on. There's really actually 2 pretty good websites out there. One of them is PubMed. If you go to PubMed, there are people out there who actually pay for the full service, and you can get you can buy all the information to all these studies and read the whole study from start to finish and all the information, and then some of them had just the annotated, information where you can just read basically what, the conclusions were and things like that.
Yeah.
So PubMed's a real good resource because it's an actual medical publications, basically, right, where they do the research. And you can type in bariatric surgery, long-term results from gastric bypass or whatever, and they have information on there. So that's another good resource. The ASMBS is another good resource. They also have information on there. The ASMBS is the Association of Surgical, American Association, it's the American Society for Metabolic and Bariatric Surgeons, okay? So it's all bariatric surgeons, basically, and the information and the studies that they've posted and their findings and things like that. That's another good resource. So you can check on there, the same thing. They have studies on there. But a lot of it, like I said, is just reading, researching. Google is your friend. Yeah. Go on Google and look things up. A lot of it's just experience, talking to people. Like I said, I am a student of weight loss surgery. I do local support groups here. A support group, I run support groups here. I've been doing that for probably 4 years now because I used to do them in California also. So it's just, and I have personal friends that are, lots and lots of weight loss surgery friends.
Yeah.
I also talk to a lot of the bariatric nurse coordinators, and whenever they go onto a seminar, they come back with pamphlets of information. You can get that information from them or read what the latest findings are that they need to do, that they're telling their patients to do. So stuff like that.
Right.
The support groups that you run, is that through your surgeon's office?
No, it's not, because I didn't have surgery here. It's actually through my wife's her hospital she had her surgery at.
How did you get involved in doing that? How did that all start?
I went there and we started going because I feel it's important to go to support groups, at least the local ones. We do a lot of them here. I like it because number one, because you can sort of pay it forward and sort of give back, tell your story, and I think people like to see somebody who's a little bit further out, what their experiences are. I'm a very much not a sugarcoating type of bullshit people type person. So I think they like to hear that, I give it like it is. I don't lie to them. I don't tell them you need to, I'm not a hypocrite. So I don't tell people, oh, you need to do this, this, and this to be successful. I tell them what I did to be successful, but the way I live my life now is a little bit different than a lot of bariatric patients might live their life. So I'm never going to be judgmental or lecture people on, don't eat a cupcake because you're not supposed to when I'm doing it myself,
Right.
So that's basically how I got involved. We went to group, and I'm very vocal. So if somebody says something, I'm going to raise my hand and say, yeah, that's incorrect. Let me tell you what the information is, because I'm argumentative for one thing, but but I had the information. I know what the actual information is. So if I hear somebody saying something that's not true, I'm going to stop them in their tracks and say no. So the people talking to me said, oh, you want to, would you like to, sort of facilitate groups? And so I said, yeah, sure, I'll do that, because I've done it before. But that's how I kind of got involved there.
That's awesome. I wanted to do that for my local office, but they were like, no, thank you. We're good.
Do they have does your local office have a regular support group, or?
So they have a support group that meets once a month, but the way it's structured is it's really like the people who are coming in going to have surgery.
Right.
They have to go to 2 support groups before they're approved for surgery. So it's very transient. A lot of people come in, do their 2 support groups, and then leave. And there's no old timers there. So I should probably go back now, because now that I'm almost 2 years out, so that I can.
Right.
Yeah. And I think that's the model for most hospitals, I would say, or surgery centers, or they want, first of all, a lot of them are part of it is the seminar part, I call, where let's promote our hospital, our surgeons, our patients are doing this and that, But I like the ones that are kind of open to any patient or any, I didn't have to have surgery there to go to their support group, which I like, because then it's not excluding. It's only inclusive only with these patients, and here's the results from this hospital. Okay, well, let's get some experiences and some results from somebody else at a different hospital,
Yeah.
So that's why I enjoy this group, because it's basically open to anybody.
Awesome. Thank you for explaining it to me. I always wondered about that. So I know Tanya has a question for you, but I just want to say who's watching really quickly. I've had 3 people PM me. Guys, PM me so I know who's watching. But Christian Haney, and I'm going to share her comment before Tanya. Mama Rose is watching, and Catherine Dadson, who's Sister Scaleback on YouTube. So they both have comments and questions, which I'll share in a minute. But first, Christian Haney is saying, OMG, we need comment section back so I can knock my husband off his high horse. Hashtag, bughead much? LOL.
She keeps them in check. Or tries.
Yeah.
So I'm going to let Tanya ask her question, and then we'll go to the live questions.
Okay, so my first thing I wanted to ask was for, I guess, people who are newly out and setting habits, are there like a top, I don't know, 3, 5, whatever life changes that you made that you've stuck with all of these years, that are like certain things that you just won't break, like no regular soda, or so, like just certain things that is like a life rule that you have?
No, that's the soda thing is, although that's something I really don't do a lot of. If I do soda, I do have soda every once in a while. It's usually diet.
Right.
Not that it's I'm not promoting soda and saying it's good for you. You should drink it, but every once in a while, I think I'm a very much a moderation guy. I think everybody that knows me knows that.
Yeah.
I do try to stick to the liquids and water part. I try to get in, at least a minimum of 64 ounces a day, plus the other liquids. I drink coffee and stuff like that, so I'm getting in probably close to a gallon by the end of the day. I do try to for the most part, I try to stick to the protein first rule. I still do that. If I'm going to eat something, it's either better be protein heavy, or I'll just eat the protein first before I go on to the other stuff, vegetables and carbs or whatever, because I don't stay away from carbs. If there's potatoes, of course I'm going to have some potatoes at the end of the meal, but I'll try to eat those last, right?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Wait, when you say carbs, are you talking about like bread and pasta and potatoes?
Yeah. Regular carbs, yeah, not just, carbs from vegetables. I'm talking about white carbs that people say you shouldn't have any of. Well, my opinion is, you're eating such a small amount that, I don't know too many people who got morbidly obese by eating 3 bites of bread. They got morbidly obese by eating 3 loaves of bread.
Right. Right.
So plus,
before their meal.
Yeah, on top of all the other crap they're going to eat, right?
Right.
So, like I said, I do not advocate people early out break the rules. I was very much a rule follower. I tell people I was strict for 18 months until I lost the majority of my weight, which was 18. It took me 18 months to lose 300 pounds. 17 months actually. Don't want to shortchange myself there. So, but I was extremely strict. My doctor was very strict. I mean, less than 40 carbs a day. 120 grams of protein, 100 ounces of water, an hour of exercise, an hour of exercise daily. At least 6 times a week. You could take 1 day off. And so, to me, that's basically what I did. Until I got to my goal, and then once I got to my goal. But I think what that does is it does sort of train you to sort of follow the habit and to make it so it is easier to transition and sort of to keep this as you said earlier, like a lifelong habit. Something that you're going to keep doing. I was exercising. Like I said, I've had a lot of health problems the past couple of years. Recently we've gotten back to going to the gym, although I haven't gone for a couple of weeks here because we've just been so busy and stuff. I haven't got back to it. Plus I had problems with my foot again. So, but anyway, so I think exercise is important. I'm not talking about going to the gym or going hardcore with things, but I think some sort of daily movement. Or, specifically like going for a walk or hiking, whatever you like to do, bike riding, doing something that's physical instead of just sitting around all day, I think is something that is a must, especially in the maintenance part, to maintain your weight loss. But like I said, I think the hardest part is really to retrain how you think about food and how you approach your daily eating, your daily habits, If you're the type of person who've had surgery, and I know lots of people out there who've had surgery and they were good for about the first month or two because they were on the diet, the regimen of, the progression, to eating normal food. But once they kind of got back to normal food, I think people that have this attitude, and I know some people that have done it and are still fairly successful, years out. Yeah. But I think for the majority of people, it's not a good idea to have the attitude of, well, I can eat what I want, just smaller portions, because I think that doesn't work for most people, because the smaller portions, for one thing, are going to increase later on.
Exactly.
But a lot of the people I see that early out and they're still eating, it's like, okay, you're 2 months out, why are you eating cake and chips every day? It's like well, I'm only eating 4 chips. And okay, well, 4 chips is going to go to 40, and then it will be 4 bags of chips. It's very easy. It's a slider food. Yeah. But I think so. I think if you really do have to change how you think about what you eat and the movement you do throughout the day. Yeah. I think if you can change your basic habits, I think if you can change your basic habits and things like that, it makes it much easier to make it a lifelong thing. And don't make things drastic. I tell people, try not to make it such a huge dramatic shift that you're never going to be able to maintain such a dramatic shift in how you eat and how you approach it. Like people that go hardcore, because then those people have the opposite end of the spectrum. They are so hardcore, they're like, I'm only doing 10 carbs a day, and I'm getting in, and I'm exercising 2 hours a day, and blah blah blah. Okay, and can you maintain that for life? Is that what you want to maintain for life? It's easier to say, oh, I don't eat any carbs anymore. I don't eat chips or bread or pasta or anything like that. I'm like, how far out are you? I'm 6 months out. I said, call me in 5 years and see what happens,
Right, and that's fantastic. You're doing that at the right time, but that's not going to be your long-term life.
I felt like saying, yeah, no shit, you should be doing that right now. But, don't get lulled into a false sense of security. I tell people that, thinking that your restriction is going to be that amazing, for the rest of your life. You're not going to like the taste of pizza for the rest of your life. You're not going to like ice cream for the rest of your life, because I know people early on do the whole, oh, my tastes have changed. I don't even crave ice cream or chocolate anymore. I'm like, yeah, I hate to tell you this, but you're 2
You're
months
gonna want
out.
it again. Yeah.
A year later, 2 years later, especially 3 years later, the 3-year mark is kind of like, that's
Yes.
when the shit hits the fan sometimes,
Right.
it seems like,
It
for
is.
most people. But, it's like, okay, well, if that's great. I mean, I get it. I was a newbie once, so I know what that feeling's like. But please prepare yourself for the fact that for the overwhelming majority of people, your hunger might come back. For overwhelming majority of people, you're not going to be super restricted for 4 years, 5 years. Overwhelming majority of people's taste comes back to liking the same foods they liked before. If you like pizza before, 2 years later, you're probably still going to like pizza. So better rather than relying on that restriction and those the intolerances to food and how your taste change, things like that, change how you think about it, change what you have to change that part, because you can't rely on the physical restriction. You can't rely on the fact that you don't like the way pizza tastes right now, because in 6 months it'll probably still taste good to you. And then what are you going to do? Because are you going to give into those cravings all the time? Work on the fact that you should be eating healthier. You don't have to eat healthy like 100% of the time, and really work on that part.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah.
I struggle with the whole going hardcore thing too with exercise. Like, I had the desire to go hardcore, but then I get burned out and then I stop. So I'm really having to talk to myself about it's really okay to just do 30-minute walks every day. It's not going to be super time consuming, and it's movement every day. I don't have to do an hour and a half and then get burned out or hurt myself, because I usually get some kind of injury because I push myself harder and harder and harder. So that's one of the things I'm working on mentally right now, is just accepting that it's okay to do moderate exercise. It doesn't have to be killer.
And what I would say, though, is what a lot of people fall into this trap of, they go hardcore with the exercise and they're working out 2 or 3 hours a day, okay? Well, what I've seen happen to a lot of my friends is, because they work out so often and so hard, so they're doing great with their maintenance, okay? But on the other end of that scale, you have to look at on the other end of that aspect is, when you work out that much, you're probably your intake needs are gonna increase. You're gonna need to eat more food. You're gonna get more hungry, because your body, naturally you're burning 1,500 calories. You're gonna have to replace those calories pretty much, right? You look at someone like Peter, a sleeve rocker. He eats like 4,000 calories because he works out so much. Okay, well, not everybody's gonna be a peak. They're not gonna go to the gym as much as they're not gonna ride their bike everywhere they go. They're not gonna burn that many calories. When you see him eating carbs or whatever, he can do it because his body is, that's how his body's burning it. He's set up a fat and calorie and carb burning, machine basically. So what happens is people get into this zone of, well, I'm working out 2 hours a day and I'm doing this and doing great for the first 6 months or a year, and all of a sudden, as you know, because you may have been one of these types, like you go hardcore at first, and all of a sudden, life happens. You stop. You don't go to the gym as much. You got kids to worry about. You got work to worry about. It gets further and further down on the scale of, of priorities, right? So then now you're only going to the gym 3 days a week, and then you're only, you're not being so hardcore with the diet. You're kind of like going, oh, well, I can have some ice cream because I went to the gym today, and then you fall into that, like I said, that trap of, you're trying to burn, you're trying to eat the calories that you just worked, an hour to burn off, okay? And so if you're not doing both, I tell people, I say, you cannot just work out, that doesn't work. It's the losing weight, first of all, but also the maintaining of the weight loss is not done in the gym. It's done in the kitchen, basically.
For sure. Yeah.
So
it's definitely 80% kitchen. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so if you are, like you say, you find like you can't work out, or another thing is, I have a lot of friends who have been injured. So like myself, I've been out of the gym for 2 years.
Right. Between my arthritis and then my tummy tuck, that was what kicked off me breaking the exercise habit, was having to be in recovery from the tummy tuck, then my arthritis flares, and if you try and keep eating the same way you were before, like I could have snacks and treats in between, and because I was exercising so much, and then it's like, you gotta, are you mentally ready to give up those things?
Yeah, you gotta reel it back in when you can't work out, right? Yep. Yeah. That's what happens. A lot of people are like, I'm injured. I've gained 20 pounds. And I was like, okay.
Right.
Because you're still in the mindset of, well, I can have this hamburger and fries because I burned it off before. I didn't never gain any weight. Well, okay, well, guess what? Your metabolism is a lot different now because you're not working out.
Yeah, and it may not hit you right away. You can, because your metabolism is sped up from exercise, and it might be a few weeks down the road before it actually hits you, and you're like, and then you get into this false sense of security, like, I must still have malabsorption because I'm eating, I'm not gaining, and then all of a sudden, bam, it stops, and you're like, I'm eating the same thing I was eating 3 weeks ago, and now all of a sudden I'm gaining. So. Yeah.
So we have a lot of new people who are joining the live conversation. But first, I have to make a correction from Christian Haney. So her hashtag that she said, the bug head much, I just assumed that was some like strange sexual position that you guys do. I wasn't sure what that was all about. Apparently, it was a typo. Yeah, no, it was a typo. It was supposed to say hashtag big head much.
Yeah.
Bughead.
Well, either one of those could be sexual, so I'm just saying.
That's true.
I just thought it was some kind of pet name. So.
So we also have Alicia joining us tonight. She says that she's watching. She would admit that she's a big fan of James. And Scotty Erb is watching, and he has a question which I'll come back to. And Kim Can Do It. Oh, I just can't remember her YouTube name now, but she's watching as well. So let's go ahead and do some of their questions. First of all, from Sister Scaleback, she wants to know, as you know, my husband, Mr. Natural VSG, Jerry, has had his surgery 3 weeks ago, and he is in the dreaded first stall and getting discouraged. What advice or encouragement would you give to a newbie like him?
First of all, everybody's going to stall. It's usually called a 3-week stall. And it's just your body adjusting to all the weight loss. So the first month or so, most of the weight loss is going to be water anyway. And your body has to get rid of a lot of water, but also take on a lot of water to actually lose fat, especially. It's a glycogen replacement cycle is what it's called. But anyways, without getting too technical, basically everybody goes through it. But if you want to continue to lose weight, I do not recommend, I hear a lot of people saying this, I absolutely do not recommend people saying, add more calories, change what you're eating, eat more of this, eat less of that. If your doctor is telling you to do low carb, high protein, which is what most doctors tell them, I would say stick to whatever your diet you're on. Don't increase. Some people go, oh, well, I increased my calories to 1,300 for a week, and then all of a sudden I started losing it again. Well, did you lose weight because you increased your calories, or did you lose weight because the stall was broken just on its own after like it would have, right? So because I think it's dangerous for people to start increasing their calories or changing what they're eating. Like, well, I added some more carbs and some crackers and stuff, because doing it that early on, I think, is dangerous for people because they can get back into old habits, and then you've blown your quote unquote your honeymoon phase, right? Because now you're not losing, and you've sort of blown that first 6 months or a year where you could have lost the most, the fastest. So when I tell people, if you're going to stall, there's several ways to break a stall. The best way is to just keep doing what you're doing. Don't change shit up. Like as far as exercise, yes, you can change up your exercise, increase it usually, or change the type of exercise you're doing. Do not increase what you're eating. If you are going to increase the eating, maintain the same calories, but change what you're eating. Add in a little bit more protein maybe, and cut some of the carbs. Increase your water. Maintain what you're currently drinking, or increase that. But other than that, and make sure you're getting enough sleep. Other than that, you will eventually start losing weight. It's all about patience. Like I said, this process works if you work it. Trust the process. That's what you have to do. Because if you don't, you can drive yourself nuts with all the stalls. Some people have 20 stalls before they get to their goal, and they're frustrated. But I think the people that fall off and they're going, oh, it's just not going to work for me. I'm done losing. It's been 2 weeks since I've lost weight, so then they kind of give up and start doing whatever the hell I want to do. No, you have to stick with the process and trust the process. Do what you're doing. But like I said, I personally, I know the people out there who recommend, oh, eat more calories. I don't recommend that, because I think it's dangerous to tell people to start increasing your calories when they're only 2 months out, a month out,
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree. I definitely did a lot of... Oh, sorry.
No, you go ahead.
Well, I was just saying, I definitely did a lot of self-talk during that time. Like, I would tell myself, there's no way anybody could eat 600 to 800 calories a day and not eventually lose weight. You know, that's not logical for, like, when I was in the 200s. I was not going to stay there. Nobody stays at that weight. Eventually, the scale's going to move. So I just kept self-talk. Just keep doing what you're doing. Everything's going to shake out. And it does. It does.
Stay off the scale for a while. I mean,
Yeah.
Put it away. Don't weigh yourself for a week and then come back to it. But like I said, and people also recommend that you measure, because you might lose weight,
Yes.
inches while you're stalled. And that happens to people too. They'll say, oh, well, actually, my pants got loose this last week, but I'm not really losing any weight. It's like, okay, well, that's fine too. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and then you know you're gearing up for a big loss, because I'd always have that, and then all of a sudden the scale would drop. So, yeah.
I tell people, I said weight loss is not a downward slope. All right? It is a stair step. It is like you stall, you lose. You stall, you lose. You stall, you lose. And it's in a stair step pattern. That's perfectly normal. You know?
Yep.
And totally, like, hypothetically speaking here, what advice would you give to somebody who hits a stall like at a year and 6 months and like maintains that stall for 6 months? Like, what advice would you give them?
Well, if you're so, how far out is this person?
Like almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years out. Okay, so if you are 2 years out and you haven't lost weight for how long?
6 months.
This person, your friend, hasn't lost weight for 6 months.
Yes. Yeah, my friend.
You know what I would tell your friend?
What?
If you stalled for more than probably 2 months, that is no longer considered a stall. That is what's called you have stopped losing weight.
Right.
So what you have to do is you have to radically change what you are doing, in the fact of, first of all, I recommend people, first of all, when they're several, many months out and they stalled long term for more than 2 months, and at some point, if you've stalled for, like I said, more than 2 or 3 months, that's not a stall. That's called you stop losing weight. Okay, so what you really need to do is, number one, I say check your habits. Are you still tracking your food? If you're not keeping track of your food, I think a lot of people have what I call food amnesia. It gets real easy to eat shit throughout the day and go, what did I have for breakfast? Or did I have a snack between breakfast? Or did I have 2 snacks between breakfast and lunch, right?
Yeah.
So you may be going over your calories. You may have gone back to foods that aren't the WLS standard of, are you eating protein first and then your vegetables and then a little bit of carbs? Are you maintaining a lower carb? I don't mean like super strict low carb, but are you getting more than 150, 200 carbs a day, which is probably too much for most people? Or are you getting less than 70 or less than 80, which is probably okay still? Because at that far out, first of all, you've lost so much weight, your body is now kind of like a regular person, right? It's weird because you lose so much weight so quickly because we are so big, right? When you're 300 or 400 pounds, you're obviously going to lose. You're used to that, losing that much weight. Once you start getting down, the closer to a normal BMI you get, the harder it is going to be to lose weight.
Just like anybody. Yeah.
Right. And so there's a lot of reasons why this person may have stalled out for 6 months.
Well, and you know what else? You know what else too with that is something I had to come to the realization is maybe that's your maintenance weight. If you feel like you're making healthy food choices that it's healthier than it was before, it's not perfect because nobody is, and that's a comfortable lifestyle for you. Maybe you have to accept that this is your maintenance weight, and that's great. Like, I had to go through a whole mental thing with that. Like I'm not going to be one of the people who got pencil thin and had couldn't keep weight on. That wasn't going to be me. But I'm certainly, when I try and look back to the day I had surgery, if I would have seen myself now as the end result, is that okay? I'm like, oh my God, yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, you'd have been happy.
I think, right. I think we get these unrealistic expectations when we see big losses, and we see other people who get super crazy thin, and we compare. It's the whole comparison is the thief of joy thing, and we have to accept, like, this is my maintenance range, and that's great. I just need to accept it, and that takes time to accept that.
Right.
But if you feel like you're not doing good food choices and you need to make changes, then that's another thing.
Right. Have your habits slip back to sort of the normal pattern they were before, But that's what I mean. So if you're that far out and you're not losing weight, you stop losing weight, obviously. But check what you're actually doing. Are you still tracking your food? Do you know what do you keep track of your food? Are you tracking on Fitness Pal? And not only are you tracking, but are you being honest with what you put? You put down everything. If you ate a little mini Hershey bar, did you put that shit down, or did you just go, oh, I don't need to
Right.
put that down because it's a, you know.
That's so little.
And are you still eating? Are you still getting as much water as you should? Are you still doing the same things you were doing at 2 months out that you are doing at 2 years out? And if the answer to that is no, or you're not doing all of them, or you're doing some of them, well, guess what? Not only should you still be doing them as often as possible, but at that far out, because like Tanya was saying, because your body is now, a lot of people have what's called a set point, right? Their body gets to a
Right.
certain weight and it's comfortable and it wants to stay there. So to shake up your set point, you now are going to have to try some radical stuff. You may have to go back to 800 calories a day, 900 calories a day. So if you're not doing 800 calories a day, and you're not working out for an hour a day or an hour and a half a day, 5 days a week, and you're not getting all your water, you're not getting 80 or 90 grams of protein in daily. If you're not doing all those things and you're not continuing to lose weight, then that's probably why. But if you really want to shake it up and get back, I tell people, I said, you really have to kind of go back to square one. You know, I hate to say it, dieting, but you really have to go back to the WLS diet lifestyle.
And you have to decide, is that what you really want? Like, do you really want to live the rest of your life that way? To be, I guess, being that weight worth it to make all those life changes, or have you made all the life changes that you feel like you can make? Because if those things feel unrealistic, then the weight that you're working towards is probably unrealistic.
Right.
If you're not willing to do that long term.
It sounds like my friend might need to think a little more about this.
I mean, because like I said, I mean, you can definitely get the weight jump started again and lose and continue to. I have friends that have lost. I know somebody who lost 100 pounds again at 2 or 3 years out. Okay, but they had to get real with themselves, number one, and then get super strict with what they were eating. But once they lost it, now they went like so far off the wagon that they weren't doing anything, and now they're kind of living the WLS, how you're supposed to live, protein first, things like that, right? Now it's easier for them to maintain that weight. They still are going to have their treats here and there and do things right, but yet they're not like so far off the wagon that you can't get back on track, So they had to reel it in, and they had to get back to basically doing, whatever, 1,000 calories a day and things like that. Well, you might have to do that again to get the weight loss jump started again. But once you get there and you want, like Tanya says, you want to maintain, are you going to be the type of person you have to get super, super strict just to maintain that lifestyle, that size or weight and the lifestyle? And can you do that? And because, like I said, Tanya, we've all been there. People who have all gotten to their goal and lost and are skinny, they know they got the taste of what it's like to be that size. But it was much easier, I can tell you, at 18 months to lose the weight and to do what you're supposed to do than it is at 3 years out or 4 years out, And so, I think that's why a lot of people have what's called, quote unquote, bounce back weight. They go up 10, 15, 20 pounds,
Right.
Okay, we're going to go to the next online question. First of all, Gashard Rose is saying that she loves all of us. We love you too.
Yes.
And then Scotty, who's also known as Scotty RNY, he has a question for James. Do you plan meals ahead of time, or does your wife plan meals ahead of time, like menu planning, or just a couple days ahead, especially in the first
That's funny. My wife doesn't cook.
You cook all the time. Yeah.
I'm the one that cooks. Yeah. We do it as because if I plan the meals I want to eat, she's not going to eat it because she has a very different. I like to tell people she has what I call the trailer park or the white trash palate. So we would be eating like chicken nuggets and like mac and cheese if she planned the meals, because that's like she only likes like 10 different things, right? But no, I do. That's one thing. That's another thing I've incorporated into my life is planning is a big deal. I plan our whole week, our whole menu. I go shopping on Sundays and usually cook. I didn't today because I was in class, but I usually shop and cook on Sundays. I cook one meal for the whole week. We both eat lunch and dinner with that. Breakfast is kind of the same thing, so that's easy for us. So you don't have a tendency to go off plan or to eat at fast food or whatever, because you're not doing eating on the go. It's already planned. You know what you're having for lunch. You know what you're having for dinner, because I've planned out a healthier version of whatever it is we're eating. So I do all the meal planning, the shopping, and the cooking in the house. I obviously want my wife's input on what she wants. But that's what I think that's another one of the other keys to success is to sort of plan your meals, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
And Christine, a teeny tiny tummy for Christine, is watching tonight, so she's saying hello, everyone.
hello.
Hello.
She says three great WLS vets giving out great tips, which is funny because I don't consider myself a vet, but I guess now that I'm almost 2 years out, I probably am a vet
Hey,
now.
you're almost 2 years out, so just like your friend, kind of.
Oh, whoops!
That's
What?
weird. Such a coincidence.
Yeah.
I know, it's so weird. Okay, and then Liz Legrini is also known as Liz L or Aussie Lightweight. She's the same person, so she just wanted to clarify that. And she's asking if I can share a link to WLS Facebook page because she can't find it. I will. I will put a link below this video after the show tonight, and I'll also share a link on my Facebook page so that you can get it.
The YouTube one or something?
Oh, I thought no. She said Facebook page.
Because Naked Truth has a Facebook page now.
Oh.
That's yeah.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I was gonna. I could share it on the Naked Truth's Facebook page. I was gonna share it on my own Facebook page.
Oh, okay.
I could totally share on the yeah. So yeah, because WSFA is an amazing organization, and I want to support them all I can. So I'd be happy to share all their information with you. Okay, another question from Scotty RNY. He wants to know what kind of meals or supper do you eat?
It varies. I try, like I said, I sort of modify all our recipes to make them weight loss surgery friendly. So on the regular, we do a turkey and beef chili mix, mostly turkey, with about 1 pound of actually lean ground beef thrown in because I like the taste of beef. I think it tastes better chili-wise. I also do a lot of soups for myself. My wife isn't a big soup eater, but also very protein-heavy soup, so it'll be like a beef vegetable soup or something like that. We do those egg bite dishes. A lot of the dishes I do are taken from World According to Eggface. It's a really good website.
Yeah.
And I still use a lot of those recipes. So like the egg bites, I make them in muffin tins, so they're bigger. And that's a whole meal, because it's a full egg and it's meat and cheese basically, and you bake it like in a muffin tin. We do lots of just baked chicken dishes. I try to make them moist, so I do one that has a Greek yogurt and Parmesan cheese sort of crust. So instead of, because the original recipe calls for mayo, so obviously it's like a ton of fat, and we just don't do, there's it adds a lot more calories to it. So I'll do that, and just certain things. So a lot of just it's very protein heavy dishes. Lots of chicken or like I said, beef or tacos. But we make the tacos on I make them with turkey and beef mix again. But we do them on lettuce leaves instead of like the taco shell to make it lower carb. Things like that.
Awesome. And I am going to go to the what do we call those? The inside the WLS questions. I love those questions. So we're going to get to those.
Yeah.
But Tanya, do you have any final questions before I get to those?
I have one, but I think I'm actually going to save it for another time because I think it's going to open a big discussion, and I know we're kind of getting towards the end, so.
Yeah, she wants to go watch The Walking Dead just like me, so
yeah, okay.
we're going to wrap it up pretty quick.
Yeah, get this done. It's funny, like a big part of the reason why I changed the time of the show this year was so that I wouldn't interfere with James's TV schedule.
That's right.
Huge.
I'm thankful too.
Okay, so what is your favorite word?
Favorite word? I don't know if I have a favorite word. I like the word yes, I guess.
Mm-hmm. That is so funny.
I'm a very positive person, so yes.
I was just thinking the same thing. I was thinking that my favorite word is yes. Okay.
Would you like another drink, Mr. Haney? Yes.
Yeah.
Would you like some bacon, Mr. Haney? Yes.
What is your least favorite word?
Would be the opposite. No, I don't like negativity, so no.
Mm-hmm.
People that say no without a really good reason, they're saying no just to be a negative or just to I don't know. I just don't like when people say they know or can't. I guess is another good one.
Yeah.
You can't do something or you don't want to do something. There's a big difference there.
Right.
Yeah. What turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
I don't know. I really do like to cook, so that's a big thing for me. I'm still very much a foodie at heart. I would say cooking is probably one because you can be creative. It's very you know, it's very emotional for me too. I get excited or sad depending on what I'm cooking. It turns out good or not. Turns out shitty, I'm sad.
And what turns you off?
Off? Again, negative people, I think.
Mm.
Big turn off for me when someone's negative. Their attitude is just always Debbie Downer. I'm not into the Debbie Downer thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. What is your favorite curse word?
Curse word? Hey, motherfucker. Maybe that's a good one. Motherfucker. That guy's a motherfucker. It insults two people at once.
Yeah.
That's good. Mom and the person you're telling it to.
What sound or noise do you love?
I love the sound of myself farting. That's a good one.
Is it the sound or the feeling?
It's everything. Sound, feeling, the after effect of the smell.
Okay. What sound or noise do you hate?
Other people farting. That I don't. That's not so awesome.
Okay. What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
Oh, a lot of them. I've always wanted to be like a professional golfer. I just think that would be such I used to love to play golf. I haven't played that much lately. It'd be so awesome. Like, to make money just playing a game, how great would that be?
Yeah.
Doing something you like and making like lots of money at it.
That would be awesome. I think isn't that what everybody wants? I mean,
pretty much.
Do something you love.
Isn't that the dream job, right? Something that you would do anyway, but get paid for it. Not only get paid for it, but get paid like lots of money for it.
Yeah, that would be awesome. So, what profession would you not like to do?
Oh, like cleaning like bathrooms. You know the guys that remove and clean out the porta potties. That's probably not an awesome job.
Yeah,
that would be bad.
Probably
that's awful.
If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Well, I'm not a super religious person. I consider myself to be sort of agnostic. But if God exists and I was up there and he came in, he would probably say, "I told you, motherfucker. I told you." All you need to say. That would be awesome for him to say that too. Because he just used my favorite curse word. So.
And you have just a couple minutes to get to your show, so with that, we will say goodnight. Next week, I'll be back again next week, actually, with Elizabeth. She was in a big fashion show today, so she couldn't make it to the show today.
Cool.
So
maybe she'll
be
have
back
pictures.
with me next week. Yeah, I'm sure she will. And our guest is actually a guy I met at my 20th high school reunion. He had gastric bypass 6 years ago. He was 600 pounds. He lost 300 pounds. He's had plastics.
Awesome.
Yeah, so he'll be, and he has been a part of no community at all. So his story will be like,
Cool.
Yeah, looking forward to it. So thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend.
Yes.
We'll see you later.
Thanks for having me. Bye.